Lipro sokete mosekete boseketa. Japroko sekete mosikata lipra kosikata. Jeketele bosokete moseketa. Jekete bosokata. Mashi prako seketa. Yakotele bosokote moshi prako sita. Le prako seketa. Jeketele bosoketa. Zeketele bosoketa. Jiprako seketa. Leketele bosoketa. Jeketele bosoketa. Jeprako seketa. Leketele bosoketa. Yakotele boseketa. Jeprako seketele bosoketa. Mashi prako sekete bosokata. Zekotele bosikata masita. Yaprako sekete mosokata. Jeprako sekete bosoketa. Leprako seketa. Jiprako seketa. Jeketele bosoketa. Moseke. Leprako seketa. Maseketele bosoketa. Jeprako seketa. Zeketele bosoketa. Jakotele bosokata. Jeketele bosita. Mazeketele bosoketa. Mosi prako seketa. Likataraba seketa. Mese prako sita. Let's take our seats. Zakotele bosokete moshita. I want us to bear in mind that this is an ongoing teaching session where I expect everyone to understand that Mysteries and Revelations has laid a foundation through teachings, and there is no other form of deliverance that can be given unto us which is more than the understanding of the word. So I want to continue with a presentation which the Lord has marked as an ongoing season in the next few days, which is the project of salvation. Earlier on in the morning, I presented the project of salvation part 1, and I explained about a man that was highly chosen by God, whose name was Noah. And Noah found grace in the sight of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord, and what was expected was for others who had not found that grace to be accommodated inside that grace. And Noah, unfortunately, could only be saved alongside his own sons. And those that could not get saved, God did not even want them to kneel down and pray. God did not even want them to confess their sins. All that God wanted was for them to have the heart of participating in a project so that they get saved, and they failed the test. So I want to continue with the part 2 of the project of salvation. And in the part 2, let us get into scriptures. In the book of Luke chapter 5, Luke chapter 5 verse 1. And in the book of Luke chapter 5 verse 1, it reads, "And it came to pass that as the people pressed upon Jesus to hear the word of God, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret. At the lake of Gennesaret, he saw 2 ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them and were already washing their nets." That is in Luke chapter 5 verse 1, to those that are still searching for the passage which we are reading. Jesus has gone to the sea, a business environment, to preach the gospel. Of all the places that Jesus chose to go and preach, he chose to go and preach the gospel in a business environment where he knew that in that environment he would win souls that are profitable minded, or that have a mind of making profit, not just financially but spiritually. It's impossible, it's very impossible to make results, to extract results from someone that has failed to make financial profits in the world, and you bring that person in the house of the Lord and expect that person to be profitable in the house of the Lord. So Jesus knows that I have to go to a business environment and start winning souls. And when I check the record of this ministry where it began, most of the souls that I won, I went into business environments and I demonstrated the gift of the ability in the spirit, and I started winning souls in business environments. I went fishing people that I knew that they were profitable minded, and I did not fish people that were profitable minded because I was trying to fish or hook the knots that were inside their pockets. I was trying to hook that mentality of making profits. Before we even talk about the financial profits, anyone that has got a financial profitable mindset, anyone that is given a mind that thinks beyond in terms of making money, if you bring that same person in the house of the Lord, they're going to be profitable. We can't have the house of the Lord where we have people that are speaking in tongues for 6 hours or 7 hours, and the church door handles are broken. The flushing system in the toilets, they are not draining. Everything is broken down and people are speaking in tongues. That is a sign of the devil in the presence. Now, Jesus sees 2 ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them. Jesus sees 2 ships that were standing by the seaside. And these ships, they were of fishermen that were already washing their nets. 2 ships that were standing by the seaside. And the mystery is they were already washing their nets. Whenever you get in an environment of people that are in the business of fishing and you find them washing their nets, it means they've called it a day. But the mystery again is that they were washing their nets, but they did not caught anything. And whilst they are washing their nets, but they have not caught anything, what is surprising me is that why would they wash their nets when they have not caught anything? What were they catching? Is there any reason for them to wash their nets when they have not caught anything? So why are they washing their nets? You can have people that are washing their nets day in and out. When you try to reach out to them, they give you an impression that they are very busy and they don't have time for sessions. They are always washing their nets, but for you to see their production of the fish they caught, you cannot see it. And Jesus knows that they are business people who are fishing like Peter, the likes of James and John, who were at the sea, who are in the business of just washing nets, but they are catching nothing. But if you try to call them, they'll tell you that they are busy. They'll give you an impression that makes you think that they are very busy and you are the one that has nothing to do. But when you go there and when you start looking at the things in the spirit, you realize that they are not catching anything. I remember when I first started representing the ability of the Revelator, I was inside Jomo Park. I'm not saying that was the first time. I'm explaining the phase here in the Seat of Kings. The Revelator is a psych. The Revelator started functioning at 14 years old. In actual fact, the Revelator was revealed while he was only 6 months old on his mother's wombs. So when the Revelator enters inside Jomo Park, he finds a network that was not working, and there was a technician that was busy. It was not the fault of the technician, it was the fault of the directors that did not understand the things of the spirit, but they understood making profit financially. It's very dangerous to enter into business and you believe that as long as I'm working hard, I'm going to make profits. That is not enough in business. You can use a calculator and still run losses. And when I entered there, I realized that there was a technician. And remember, this environment that I'm entering, I had been entering it for 2 years as a client. And I could not reach out even to the directors. Why? Because that is another story for another day. So, I was able to reveal that the network in this business is not being interrupted by the network service providers. The network fault that is happening in your business, it has nothing to do with any fault that requires a technician to come and fix it. Thank God the director that I found that day is not the one that over reasons too much. This is why the Lord allowed me to talk to the director that was on the ground. And she accommodated the man that sees beyond technical faults. There is nothing that the Revelator has ever revealed that it doesn't prove. A week later, demons were confessing that we had shut down the network. And we were prepared to kill the other director that was sleeping back home reading. When people see the Revelator introducing certain people to become administrators in a project, it's not because they've got more money. It's because of the trained experiences and the exposures that they have gone through, the level of understanding that they have been allowed to reach, and the level that the Lord has allowed them to be now responsible. There are people that haven't reached that level, but they believe that they've reached that level. This is why when they are handing you just a coin, they present a sermon. By just handing you a coin, they make you feel that we've handed you the whole world. Now, Jesus has reached by the seaside, and he finds Peter. Peter is washing nets, but he did not catch anything. Why are you washing nets, but you did not catch anything, Peter? And Simon answered and said, Master, we have toiled all night. We've been working. The network was down. We could not catch any fish, and we have taken nothing. Nevertheless, what I believe is that at your age, I will let down the nets and catch something. Here, the mentality of Peter that is in business. This is a businessman that is spiritually minded. He says, I know that when I let down the nets because you have spoken, I'll start catching something. He didn't start saying, no, I'm the professional fisherman. What do you know about fishing? We have business people like that, who when you enter into their business places, they want to act as if they know their field better than a spiritual man. You don't know your field better than a spiritual man. A spiritual man sees beyond. He sees beyond. And Peter lets down the nets. But before Peter lets down the nets, there is something that happened. And the mystery that happened is that Jesus went inside the boat and started preaching. Whilst Jesus is now preaching in the boat, Jesus did not start by showing Peter the miracle or the dimension of catching many fish. No, you don't do that. There are people that you don't give a miracle first. There are people that you don't give a miracle first. Don't do that. I'm telling you, pastors, don't do that. There are people that are just looking for a breakthrough. They don't have their heart in ministry. They don't have their heart in the things of God. Even when they attend sessions, their minds are not even here. You don't give a breakthrough to such people. Let them love the things of God first, and when they love the things of God, and when you're now convinced, let them become successful. And when they become successful, after they are mature, they will behave as administrators of a project. If I had not mentored the current administrators that are running the current project in the Ascension Room, I'm telling you, they would be telling me some funny language by now, telling me that this is our hard-earned money. The language of stupidity, the language of selfishness of people that are in the world after getting their blessing. It's like someone that you give a two-start. After that, they accelerate and they don't look back. They don't even give you a tip-off. Now, Jesus, while he is preaching in this boat, I need you to understand something. He is marketing something. There's a project that is happening in the ship while Jesus is preaching. There is a project of salvation, and the project of salvation that is happening inside the ship is that while Jesus is preaching, he is winning souls. He is winning souls. He is marketing a gospel. He is marketing a certain product that is called the gospel, and he's selling that gospel to souls, and he's winning souls to the kingdom of God. After marketing gospel of salvation. After finishing the project of salvation, while he's in Peter's boat, then he says, I'm now entering into your project to show you what happens when you accommodate a man of God, when you accommodate Jesus inside your project. I'm going to repeat this part in case someone is not hearing what I'm saying. After the project of salvation, of winning souls while he's in Peter's boat, after successfully marketing a certain product that wins souls, then Jesus then demonstrates another level and says, I want to show you beyond what I've done inside your project. I know that all this time when I was teaching, I was doing the project of soul winning, and you thought that it has nothing to do with your project. Why? Because your project is catching fish. Your project is catching clients. Now I'm going to master another kind of project, which is in your field, the one that you understand, which wins not only clients but money. And he tells Peter, let down your nets for the catch. And as Peter let down the nets for the catch, after a long day of catching nothing, Peter, James, and John, that was before they became disciples, they caught many fish, great multitudes of fish, and they were shocked. They could not understand. How is this possible? A man that does not even come here to do fishing, is not part of fishing. All he needed to do was to speak a word, and now we are catching many fish. After the many fishes had been caught, there is something that was done by Simon Peter that shocked me while I was reading this passage in the prayer room. What shocked me is that instead of Simon Peter jumping up and down and testifying, Simon Peter runs and kneels down in the presence of the Lord. That is in Luke chapter 5, verse 8. When Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. My question is, why are you now confessing about your sins, Simon? I thought you were supposed to be celebrating the many fish that you have caught. Why are you now confessing about your sins, Simon? I thought all this time you have been complaining about toiling all night and loitering and not making profit. Why are you now confessing about sins, Simon? I thought you were crying about not getting clients. Let me tell you, Simon Peter understands that the sins that I was committing behind the sins that I was committing behind the sins that I was committing, flirting behind the sins, thinking that the Revelator is not seeing, those sins, that disobedience that I was doing behind the scenes, it is the reason why I was not catching many fish. The project of salvation is happening inside Simon Peter's boat, which is the project of fishing. Inside the same company is where the soul of Simon was won. Inside the same boat is where Jesus is winning a soul. If you enter Jesus' ministry, you will not hear the stupidity of saying this is business hours. Jesus does not know that stupidity. You don't tell the Revelator that stupidity when he comes in your environment, and you tell the Revelator that these are business hours. It's better you tell the Revelator never to enter your business. You'll never tell the Revelator that stupidity that we have business hours right now. I don't know what is business hours. When we enter in the dimensions of the things of the Spirit, Peter kneels down and he says, depart from me, O Lord, for I am a sinful man. The production that you have just demonstrated right now, it would not have happened. How could it have happened to a man who is a sinner like me? Simon Peter is understood that the reason why I was not making profit in this business is because of the sins that I was committing behind the scenes. Simon Peter does not wait for Jesus to start revealing about his sins. No, Simon Peter willingly starts confessing his sins. After catching many fish, to another level, another businessman, after catching many fish, he would start celebrating that testimony, and you would not have a need for Jesus. This is another level of a selfish person. After catching many fish, you would say, Jesus, now production is booming. May you please excuse us. These are now business hours. We have people like that. After getting their testimony, they feel like the man of God is a nuisance. The man of God is a waste of time. They can even blue tick you. If you are not blocked, you'll be lucky. So being blue ticked is better. Child of God, after Peter fell down on Jesus' knees, then Jesus said to Peter, now from this hour, you will no longer be the fishers that will be catching this product from the sea. You will now be the fishers of men. He changed their trade. But before he changed their profession, he wanted to show them that even in your own field, I can make things happen before you come and preach the gospel. I want us to stand up and just pray for 5 minutes as we prepare for the part 3. Likatakaraba shekete mosoketa, zeketebo soketa, mosikatalaba seketa, jeketelebo soketa, mezeketelebo shikata, mazeketebo soketa, jiprako sekete mosita, mosikatalaba seketa, mashikatalaba seta. Jesus' mighty name.